Here we are. So, welcome to our nervous system regulation workshop. Who is ready for this? And this might trigger some of you, and some of you might be like, I am here for this. But really, we're focused today on making more money doing less. Making more money doing less. But I just want you to keep in mind that this is anything you want to create or manifest. I am just speaking to money because I feel like it's something that needs to be healed within the empath entrepreneur family, not just our community, but at large. So I'll probably be broadcasting this to YouTube as well because I want this to reach as many people as possible after our workshop, not our direct shares. So don't worry, that'll be a separate recording. But let us start right now by really tapping in and letting go of all the stressors, all the highs, all the lows, all the people, all the thoughts, all the beliefs, and just start to drop in and really receive this almost as a mini retreat. Okay, because today we're going to be learning and discovering the easiest way to regulate your nervous system anytime you need to. Okay, so like on an instant, so you can feel safe receiving more without having to push, hustle so hard. The second thing we're going to dive into is the number one most valuable practice to unhook from lack consciousness. Have you ever been stuck in like those beliefs that it's just there's not enough and everything's going wrong and I'm not enough and I have to push harder, work harder. So that's lack consciousness. We're actually designed to be abundant. And so this practice that I'm going to share with you is going to help us unhook from lack consciousness and really step into and expand our vibration to attract prosperity rather than having to like reach for it. So instead of being the worker bee, just think of the flower energy, the feminine energy. And then the third thing, we're going to get very practical, talking about the Wealth Accelerator. It's a blueprint for making more money doing less. And this is something I have seen work so well for me and my clients. And I'm very excited to share that with you. So let's take a deep, deep breath in. Keep breathing here. I'm going to light some Palo Santo. And as you are breathing, notice yourself on the exhale, letting all of the weight of other people's needs or expectations, any limiting thoughts you might be carrying, just sort of melting off of your shoulders and releasing out of your mind, washing out of your system. And imagine even your field, like your energetic field, your body, your emotions, your whole self starting to clear and cleanse away anything that's been weighing you down. Just letting it go. And as you breathe in, fill up the freed up space with vitality, with connection, with a sense of worthiness because you're giving yourself this time for you. Let yourself receive it. And placing one hand on your heart if it feels comfortable, one hand on your belly, and just connecting inward and noticing what you feel, what's present, and just letting your whole self be here. Every single facet of you is welcome here. Every part of you is welcome here. There's nothing to push away or get rid of. Every part of you is welcome here. And as you breathe in and let go of any resistance to parts of yourself or where your life is in this moment, just letting that all wash away as you expand into this radical embrace of yourself. And as you press in with your hands gently into your body, just checking in and noticing what you feel and asking yourself, what is it that I need right now? Or even better question, what is it that I celebrate about myself in this moment? If I know you, oof, I know that you have amazingly strong integrity. You do beautiful work in the world, whether that's a career or the way you show up with your loved ones or both. I know that you tread on this planet softly and gently. I know that you care and you have a blazing, powerful heart. And these are things to acknowledge yourself for. So just breathing in the high quality soul that you are and taking ownership of this, that you're a light bringer. You are the good news. There's nothing you have to say to anybody. You just are that. So just really celebrating one thing in your life that is proof for you. It's like, okay, that's true. Give yourself that acknowledgement for a moment. And that just starts to allow your light to radiate even more. And then whenever you're ready, you can release your hands. And if you want to receive more energy during the workshop, you could place your palms up on your lap or palms down. If you want to ground, like if you're in your head and you're all over the place, it's more helpful to have your palms facing down, sort of root, turn the energy to a rooting energy. If you need energy, you feel heavy, focus them up, almost like receiving energy. Or if you're somewhere in the middle, you can do both. Okay. So, I'm going to share a story with you too before we get into the easiest way to regulate your nervous system and the most powerful, valuable practice for unlocking or unhooking from lack consciousness, as well as the Wealth Accelerator Blueprint. I'm going to share something I've never shared before because it's important to speak to why I'm so passionate about this topic and that there's evidence for you. Back in 2020, my business was really at its peak. It was hitting a lot of success. And Jason and I, my partner and I at the time, we decided to go to a functional medical doctor just for fun. We're like, let's go do the deep dive blood work. Like that was fun for us, health nuts. So we went to a functional medical doctor, and I was super confident that my health would be high and great. My blood work would be perfect because that's what it had always been. I had always invested a lot in my health. And I go in and I get my checkup, and the doctor is doing everything. Like he's checking me up and down. He's like in my ears. He's checking my heart. He's hitting my knees with these rubber things. He's pressing on my abdomen and all my organs. And then he goes to his desk. He's like, come sit. And I sit down. I look at him, and he scribbles some things in his notebook, and he pulls his bifocals down and he looks at me and he's like, you are so boring. And I was like, "Aw." And I'm like batting my eyelashes. Like the only time in my life being called boring was a compliment. I was like, thanks. He's like, there is nothing, like you're in perfect health. I'll run the labs. You have nothing to worry about. Wow, whatever you're doing is working. So I leave the office and I'm like on cloud nine. I'm like, yay, feeling so good. And then 3 or 4 days later, I get a phone call from him, and his voice sounded very somber. And he said, I have news for you. We got your blood work, and there was a number there that is extremely high, and you have an incurable illness. And he said the name. I'm not going to say the name of it because this isn't about the illness. This isn't about me becoming an expert in health. I don't want anyone coming to me for how I healed this. But long story short, he tells me the name of the diagnosis. I'd never heard it. And I'm like pressing the phone to my ear, and I'm like, can you repeat that? And I'm like scribbling it down. And I'm like, how do you spell that? And I hang up the phone and I'm just stunned. I'm literally shocked. I'm just like, how? And I want to pick the phone back up, and I wanted to yell at him, like, you have the wrong person. Like, this is not my blood work. We need to test again. I literally was going to pick up the phone and just dial him back and be like, your office is disorganized. This is not my blood, my blood work. But I sat back for a moment and I knew that it was mine because I knew that I had been living under a lot of pressure and stress in my work. And the two things that he said to me was the two main causes of this illness are stress, like excessive stress, and gluten. I was like, oh God, I just came from France. Like I was eating like 2 to 3 croissants a day. We we were having a lot of fun in France and I was treating myself and I was vegetarian at the time and eating a lot of gluten, eating all kinds of foods that had gluten in them. And I had this wake up call and started to take a good look at my life and realized I was under so much pressure. But because I drink the green juices and I do the running and the rebounding and the hopping up and down, and I have amazing community and beautiful work that I do in the world and my beloved and all these gorgeous things in my life, I just couldn't connect the dots that that could have been my blood work. But when he said the word stress, it never occurred to me because everyone around me was stressed that that could actually create a health diagnosis. And my bedroom, my office at the time was in my bedroom. Nobody even knows this because I'd always angle the camera like to the corner. But it was a big, like we had a big master bedroom. And I just had my office in the bedroom. So that was the perfect symbol. I was like, I looked around. My heart was beating so fast. I was looking at the words incurable illness that I had written down. And I was like, stress, do I have high stress? And it like occurred to me, I'm in bed with my business. I work 12-hour days. I'm thinking about work all day, go to sleep thinking about work, and I love my work. So back then I thought that love would, overpower the stress. But long story short, my body was screaming at me. And thank God I did that blood work. And what I learned was the health diagnosis was not a punishment. It wasn't a life sentence. I've subsequently healed it, which has been incredible, amazing. But what I realized is my body doesn't have words. And there's a reason I'm sharing this with you. Our bodies don't have words. What they have is blood work and symptoms. And those are such a beautiful way to communicate. The body's always trying to communicate with us, but I was not listening. I was just like making money in my business. And I was, for years prior to that, I was in feast or famine, feast or famine. So having that stability for 2, 3 years at that point of making great money doing what I love became a bit of an addiction. And so I just wanted more and I wanted more and I wanted more because I felt really valuable. It felt incredible that I was able to do what I was able to do. So, long story short, in that moment, I became obsessed with figuring out how to heal myself. And I put myself above my work. I dropped 75% of my work, let it go. I focused on 25% of what was generating income. I kept giving to my clients and students, making some content on YouTube, and let go of everything else. And what was really crazy and wonderful and miraculous was that I was making the exact same amount of money. When I did my taxes at the end of the year and I tallied everything, I was like, how? Like it was also COVID. So you can imagine everything was just very quiet. I was in this really healing place. And it really taught me 3 core things I want to share with you today to help you make more money doing less. And it has so much to do with our bodies, with our nervous systems, with having the capacity to receive. Because when I was in that hustle, go, go, go mode, I wasn't listening. I wasn't even available to know what I needed. That's a low vibration. When I'm chasing a goal and not honoring my body's needs, that was a way of saying, I'm not worth very much. The goal is worth more than me. So I'm going to hustle for that. But really, what attracts the abundance is being in an identity of I'm worth taking care of myself. So, the number one practice, which you hear pretty much all know this practice, but I'm going to bring it in again because this is so important as a foundation for the second, the most valuable practice I'm going to bring in that I haven't shared with you yet. We first need to have this foundation set. And it really comes down to, so the easiest way to regulate your nervous system comes down to, and this is what I had to learn. It's in the Diamond Process book, but what I'm going to share with you is a shortcut. Here's the irony. I had written this book years before, and I just felt like such an imposter. I was like, how is my health like this? I wrote a book about this. I teach self-care. I had a workshop printed out on my desk that was like the 5 master keys to self-care, literally as I was speaking to the doctor. It was just like this aha moment of wow, I was so out of tune with my body that I had no idea what my body actually needed. I was just doing the green juices. Like it was all like check, 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 all the things I was doing, but I wasn't really receiving it. So, can you guess the easiest way to regulate your nervous system, what we're about to dive into? Can any of you guess? So the 5 A's to regulating your nervous system, I just really ask like that we slip this in our back pockets and notice what happens when you take this on. I think most people don't do what I'm about to share with you after this because they don't know how to face their emotions, or when their body's all frazzled or there's silence, they don't know what to do with their thoughts or emotions. Let me know in the chat if you've ever faced that, where you find yourself getting really busy or scrolling because you don't know what to do with your thoughts, or your body feels too wired or too active or too anxious to actually be still and present. So, the 5 A's to regulating your nervous system is so simple and it is so powerful. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. I have done that. Yeah, I definitely know that. Exactly. So, I want all of us to recognize that if we have these 5 A's and we don't just learn it now, but we every day practice this, it can take 2, 3 minutes. It literally can take 2, 3 minutes, and we'll do a swift version of it. It's life changing. Yeah, numbing is part of me. Let's say, Judy, numbing is part of the past you, the past identity. Okay. So instead of talking through it, let's actually experience it. All right. So the first step, yeah, so relate to the numbing. Really good. So notice that. So numbing. And how do you numb? And start to take note. What are your ways of numbing out? What are your ways of numbing out? Because right now the ego is going to get really agitated and it's either going to want to check out, I already know this, or, oh my God, this is like, it's going to go into patterns of not wanting to actually drop into the body. And here's the beautiful thing with these 5 A's, it just becomes so easy, it becomes so simple to drop in and connect and recalibrate so that we are able to be more receptive. So the nervous system can actually expand its capacity to receive. Here's the thing. If we don't think, if we don't think that we're worth or that it's safe having more doing less, we're going to push it away. We're just going to push it away. We're going to deflect it. Think about it. I made the exact same amount of money in 2020 as I did in 2019, doing 75% less. What happened there? My energetic set point was to a certain amount of money, so my nervous system felt safe receiving that amount. My mind told me that I had to hustle for it. I had to work really hard. I had to push, 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 push. People pleasing, perfectionism, overgiving, over responsibility, all my control patterns. As my numbers were growing, I suddenly felt like I had to control everything and over become hyper vigilant. It was so much on my nervous system. So once I let go of all that, my nervous system was already set to it's safe to receive this much. So even if you do 75% less, it's okay. We're still going to receive that much because we know we have evidence that we were safe having that much. So now the question becomes, can we receive, how do we expand and receive more and more and more? So very, very simply, it's about the very thing I was not doing back then, which is having a felt sense of connection with your physical body, with our physical body and our nervous systems. So it's not conceptual, it's a felt sense. So I want you to just really tune in and start to recognize the thing that's going to change everything. And we'll go through the 5 A's in a moment. The thing that will change everything in terms of your ability to manifest more is getting a felt sense in your physical body of how you're doing moment to moment, how your nervous system is. And instead of pushing away what's present, we actually work with the discomfort to expand into a vibration that is prosperity attracting rather than a lack consciousness that's like, I'm not available, I'm overwrought, I'm just, and it pushes and deflects. So, have you ever had that friend that you go to buy coffee for and or something, tea, whatever, and they're like, "No, no, no, I got it." And they buy yours? Or maybe you're that person. So, that I have a really good friend like that, and I remember on her birthday, I was like, she has everything. Like I wanted to give to her so badly, and there was nothing I could give her because she's already bought everything for herself. She handles everything. She doesn't receive. It was like she was a brick wall to receiving. So we get to become more porous to receiving, and this is how. So the 5 A's to regulating our nervous systems and receiving, feeling safe, receiving more. Okay. The first A is awareness. Awareness. I didn't even make cards for these, but let's just, so awareness. Taking a deep breath in, and how do we drop into awareness? Asking these two questions. What do I feel? And where do I feel it? So let's take a moment right now and just ask your body right now, how do I feel in this moment? What emotion is present in my body? We can do this right now, and we're going to start to clear our nervous system, harmonize our nervous system, and balance out. Ooh, and become more receptive. Okay, so now we start to identify, tracking, becoming aware. So now we're migrating to the presence, to the dimension of ourselves that's aware of our bodies. It's almost like a mother seeing her daughter. Like, oh, how are you feeling, sweetheart? So now we're tuning into the body. How do you feel, love? What's present? What emotion is present? There might be physical pain that can work too, but let's get to the emotion. If you feel pain somewhere, ask that area, what emotion, if there was an emotion attached to that physical sensation, what emotion is it? To make it easy, let's go with one of the four emotions: anger, sadness, joy, or fear. It's likely going to be more nuanced. Like it might be frustration, or it might be, grief, or it might be, um, yeah, so just it might be excitement. So notice what you're feeling in your body and then locate it. So we're naming the feeling and we're locating it. This alone, this first step, is going to shift into presence with the body. And presence is power. This is the only place we manifest from, the present moment. Our bodies are literally magnets for manifestation, but if we're in our heads all day, we're not available to recognize what good news and manifestations are here for us to receive. So, what do I feel? Where do I feel it? Okay, I feel, ooh, yeah, like a tinge of sadness in my throat. It's just like a tinge. So now I'm like hyper present. I'm so present that I can track a flicker in my body of an energy that's asking for love. So taking a deep, deep breath in, and now you can even place your hand there or hands there, wherever you feel that emotion. See, now that I'm present with my throat, because that's where I felt it, it actually is in my heart. So you might notice the place or position, the location moves. So no problem. You're just present with it. And if it moves, you can place your hands there and just staying present. Second A of the 5 A's to regulating your nervous system is authenticity. So if this emotion could speak, what would it say? What would it say? Oh, yeah, okay. Immediately I hear it. So if this emotion could speak, what would it say? And taking a deep breath. This is not about being politically correct. It's just giving the feeling a voice. Because typically we're pushing the feeling down in order to have a bright, shiny life. And it just doesn't work that way. So as you're breathing here, like I instantly heard from this very subtle place inside of sadness saying, I'm so tired of performing. I'm so tired of performing. Can't I just be? Can't I let go? So it's like this very subtle old pattern that may be coming up. Beautiful. So now the third A to the five A's to regulating your nervous system. So we have awareness, authenticity, now allowance. Ask yourself the question, am I willing to allow this feeling to exist? Am I willing to allow this feeling to exist? You might hear an immediate hell no, and that's okay. But if you can find your way to yes, that is ideal. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like this feeling. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Are you simply willing to allow it, like a child who's come home from school feeling that feeling? You may not like the mood they're in, but as their mother, you know that it's your job to be their safe place. So taking a deep breath in here, and I want you to imagine this feeling is now expanding. So instead of pushing it away or trying to fix it, releasing that tendency and letting it expand, just like letting it, the energy of it expand. Yeah. Taking the brake off. If you have resistance to this, then work with the resistance. Where do you feel the resistance? Go back to step one. Where do you feel the resistance? What does the resistance want to say? Are you willing to allow the resistance to exist? Okay. So we're just allowing the energy to expand. Staying here. Oftentimes I find this is enough. As soon as I let the feeling expand, I'm now in the moment. I'm now present. Taking another deep breath in. We're going to take it a step further and go into the fourth A, which is acceptance. So it's just taking it a step further from allowance. The way to accept this part is to genuinely care about what it needs and ask, what do you need, sweetheart? What is the unmet need here that you have not received, that you've been needing to receive? Staying with your breath as this energy is expanding. Just notice how felt it is. It's a felt sense. It's no longer something to run from. Notice that you are so present with it, and you're the one who's present. You're not the feeling itself. This is the power. Repeating this over and over again, you awaken to the dimension of self, I call the diamond self, who is the presence, who is whole. And guess what? Wholeness radically attracts abundance because it attracts what it is. There's no limit to what it can have. So as you're breathing here, noticing what is the unmet need? And what I hear immediately is, I just need you to hold me. I need you to love me. I need you to accept me as I am. So instead of trying to be bright, shiny, happy all the time, can there be sadness? So that's the message I'm getting. And it's like, oh, like I love this part of me because it's such a soft energy. It like immediately pulls the armor off, the polish off. And it's like, oh, I could just be receptive. The fifth A, the final A of the diamond self of regulating your nervous system is appreciation. So what do you appreciate about this feeling? What has it brought you that you wouldn't have had access to had it not shown up? So what do I appreciate about this feeling Has it taught me? What has it shown me? It might have shown you a deep need that you have that hasn't been met, and it's time to meet that need. So ask yourself, am I willing to meet that need? Am I willing to put that in my calendar, schedule it, make it real? Like for me, it's like, what would happen if I free formed, wrote from this place of sadness? I just get this sense that there's a lot of poetry in there, and there is a softness. There's just like a porousness, a receptivity. It's like nothing to do, no one to be. This is who I am, the raw me. This is me. And it's just like a really, yeah, it's like a really delicious and beautiful energy. So my gratitude for this part is it has softened me just in these few minutes, where it's less about, I have all these things to teach you and show you, and I can be receptive with you. It's a really subtle, energetic, but I feel it. I feel it in my body. So one more deep, deep breath in. And can you feel how these 5 A's are so simple? And anytime you're at work or you're with your loved ones or you're triggered somewhere and you're like, or you're at a social function and you feel really inferior or triggered by something someone said, you can go straight. I have clients do this all the time. They go to a stall in the bathroom, they close it, and they run through the 5 A's in the bathroom. What do I feel? I feel pissed off. I feel anger. Okay, where do I feel it? I feel it in my belly. Okay, second A, authenticity. Who are you? Like, what does this anger want to say and to who? That person called me a what? Like, or looked at me like, what? Or da 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 da. Like, and like it's letting that part speak and express. You can even do it quietly. Third A is allowance. Am I willing to allow this energy to be all that it is? Yes. And suddenly there's like a power, there's a vertical energy. Instead of pretending at that social event, it's like, this is me, this is all of me. And then the fourth A, acceptance. What is the unmet need? What do you need? I need to be allowed to be all that I am rather than trying to please this person or get acceptance from this person. I need the acceptance from you, not from somebody out there. Oof, got it. Okay. All right. And fifth A, what do you appreciate about this part? I appreciate that it just brought me back to my center. I didn't even realize I was seeking outer approval. Now I can walk back into that social event, present as myself, inner resourced, confident, let people have their opinions. I'm home in my body. I'm here. Now there's a whole different energetic. Suddenly people are like, who is that? And how can I talk to them? And an opportunity pops up, but we don't do it for that reason. It's just kind of the way things work. Okay, so that is the practice, the most valuable, or sorry, the easiest way to regulate the nervous system. So let's take a breath before I get into the most valuable practice for unlocking out of lack consciousness. This is like it should, this is kind of what spawned this workshop, because I feel like this could be a movement, what I'm about to share with you. And a friend of mine, I was sharing with her that I've been doing this a lot, and she started doing it, and she's like, this needs to be a movement. Like, I did it and it changed my life, and I need to do this every week. So I'm going to share that with you in a moment. Yeah, and so the ways that you numb out, overthinking. I so hear you. Sugar, avoiding silence, distracting myself with listening to podcasts and audiobooks, scrolling through Pinterest, sugar. These are such good awarenesses. Okay. And you know what? It's like if you do the 5 A's before numbing out and just say to yourself, I can still give myself the scrolling or the sugar or whatever it is, but let me first just take 2 minutes with the 5 A's and connect in, and then you'll see you'll be coming from a different place. So if you do eat the sugar or you do distract with scrolling, you're going to be coming from a very different place. You might actually really enjoy whatever it is that you're eating, or you might really not even want to scroll. You're like, I'm going to go stroll instead of scroll. Like, I want to go for a walk actually, because your body's going to know what she wants, and you're going to be able to hear what the body wants. Okay. So I was on the phone with a coach of mine. She's a powerhouse. And at the end of the call, she goes, "Hey, do you have a few minutes off the clock? Can I ask you something?" And I said, "Sure." And she said, she basically confessed that she was in dire straits. Like, this is a very successful coach, and she's just in a very stressed out place. This person's demands and her partner's demands, and this person's getting married, and her finances are really dwindling because she just had to do, she got into all these things, and she's like, "I'm at my wit's end. What do I do? What do I do?" And I said, "You're saying all these things about this person's wedding and that, and how you have to make more income to help that person, and da, 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 da. But where are you in the equation? Like, where are you in the equation?" She's like, I don't have time for me right now. Like, I need to hustle." And I'm like, "Oh heavens, here's my past self. I'm on the phone with my past self." And I just took a deep breath and I shared with her what I'm sharing with you. And I don't know if she got it, but it's okay because it spawned this workshop. And so maybe some of you will get something from this. So I shared with her a practice that is in many different religions. Some call it Shabbat, some call it Sabbath, some call it just unplugging, a digital detox. But what I typically do, because I usually have a workshop on Saturdays, I usually teach Saturdays, is I then unplug on Saturday, and then I unplug all day Sunday, and then I come back online on Monday. So I completely detach and I tell all my loved ones, "Hey, don't worry about me. If you reach out, you're not going to find me. I'm unplugging." And I used to do this a lot and recently started it again. And I can't describe the first impulse is, "Oh, no, 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 but I need to turn my phone on. I forgot to do that thing." Or, "Oh God." And there's that addiction that's there. But when you resist the urge and just write down the to-dos, write down the things that you need to do for Monday or whatever days you choose to do this, it could even be 3 hours or 2 hours of unplugging. And what I find is once you get over that addiction to having to connect and be plugged in, a whole magical world opens up. And when we unplug from the outer world, we plug in to source. Next thing you know, there is just so much clarity. I find them so productive. The driven me is like, fine, like we can do it because we're so productive, but not in a typical sense. I'm going to explain. It's a more feminine approach. But the question I want to ask you is if you, and what I asked this coach, if you were to design your perfect day, what would that look like? Like, what feeds your energy? What lifts your energy? What makes you feel so good? So for me, I woke up in the morning and I made my breakfast and I did my meditation, and those are normal parts of my day. Then I went for my walk all the way down to the beach, kind of run walk all the way down to the beach, and sat and enjoyed the view. Then I walked, but it's on the cliff, so I didn't get in the water. Then I came back, did made a beautiful lunch, and then I got in my car and I drove to my favorite beach and I went swimming. Hence the crazy hair because there's just no way to keep blow drying it because I'm swimming a lot in Portugal. But I was in the ocean, connecting, picking seashells. I'm going to be traveling, I'm going to be seeing friends. So I'm picking shells for my friends. I'm like, "Oh, this is the perfect one for her and the perfect one for her." And I'm just in the moment. I'm in this beautiful, magical place where my mind is in no way attached to anyone out there. I'm not thinking about, and for those of you who are big givers or you're very driven, oftentimes, and track this if this is true for you, the thoughts that pull you out of presence, and I would ask yourself, what are the thoughts or people that pull me out of presence? That's really important to get clear on so that you can track it when the mind generates those thoughts. You can start to pull back and just notice those thoughts and use one of these practices. So for me, it's who can I help? I didn't help that person enough. I didn't do that. Oh my, and the generosity kicks in. But on these Shabbat or Sabbath days, it's all eliminated. It's like everybody out, everyone out of my field. And it's just like, what do I need? And it's moment to moment. Oh, I just want to lay on my yoga mat now. Ooh, I just want to stretch. Ooh, I want to put on essential oils on all my chakras and breathe. Oh, I want to massage my body. Oh my God, I want to write a poem. It's just coming out of nowhere. Ooh, there's a marketing idea. I'm going to write that down. That's a really fun idea. Oh, there's the solution that I've been trying to come to for my next book. That's where it leads. That's the end. Oh my God. So all this clarity and productivity comes in, but it's not coming in from force or stress. Like this coach I was helping, she's like, I don't have time for me right now. I need to make more money. And I said, sweetheart, you don't have time to not make time for you. Because if you need more money, being in lack and stress is going to keep repelling it and keep you in the exact pattern she's been in her whole life. And it took a health diagnosis to realize this, but you don't need a health diagnosis. That's the gorgeous thing. It's just going, okay, can I put this can I do this as an experiment? All I am suggesting here is an experiment. So the number one most valuable practice to unlock from lack consciousness and really come into this attractor field of abundance is Shabbat, Sabbath, unplug for however long you can. If you're like, I do not have a day and a half, are you out of your head? Like, I don't have that much time. Fine. Like, can you give yourself 20 minutes of breathing, unplugging where you're not available and starting there, or even, 10 minutes. By the way, the next day I was doing my walk that Monday morning. I just made a coaching corner on this. I was doing the walk, and at the end of the walk, I literally found there were €5 just like on the ground. And I was like, no way, like that's so cool. And I pick up the money. And in my mind, I was like, I heard like I was like, that's, like coins are typical, but to find paper money was really cool. And I wrote this on the money. I heard, take good care of yourself, and life will take good care of you. Take good care of yourself, and life will take good care of you. This coach and my past self, I was not taking good care of myself. I'm sorry, but working till midnight when I had been working all day was not, and my body, I would feel the electric load in my system from being, it wasn't just working, I was on a computer endlessly. I'd feel that electric load in my system, but I would if I just have to, my ego would go, I just have to get this one thing done. That was the trick back then. My mind, I just have to finish this one thing. And it would go on and on and on, and it would take much longer than I expected. Oh, no, 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 but I have to finish this. Then it would be midnight, and I would feel hungover. I don't even drink. I feel hungover because the technology was, and the blue light was zapping there's all this research on it. I finally studied and found out about, was zapping my body. So what I realized was take good care of yourself and life will take good care of you. It's a frequency thing, right? Your frequency is your number one job. My job might be to help coaches, healers, empath entrepreneurs, creatives to get visible, clear their visibility blocks, grow a beautiful soul-centered business, or create their dream life. But that's not my first job. That's my second job. My first job is my frequency. So if you think about it, think about somebody in your life who really needed help, but they're coming to you desperate, like, I need help. And they're super dramatic and they're not doing anything for themselves. They are expecting you to fix them. And you feel super exhausted when they're freaking out. Have you ever had that happen? And then, yeah, I mean, I just had a couple different examples of this, and I'm not available for that anymore. My past self, I feel like they were tests that came in to see if I was still going to plug into that. It's not my job. However, when there's somebody who, I feel it in my heart, somebody who's really doing the inner work and they're doing everything they can and they clearly need help and they ask for guidance or something, I am eager to pour energy into them. It's not conceptual, it's an energetic. I feel it. I see them helping themselves and I want to help them. It's like an energetic. So this thing that came through about life takes care of those who take care of themselves, it's that same energy. It's that same energy. And this is really hard for those of us who are big-hearted souls, is we can tend to try to rescue people by jumping in a hole, but then we get sucked in to the person's drama instead of being a beacon of light, staying true to your frequency, and knowing that if you do not allow yourself to stay present, if you jump into the ocean to rescue a boat that's struggling, you're not doing your job. Then all the other boats crash. Like they need to figure out how to get to the land. So our best job is to be the lighthouse rather than the sponge, right? Just be the lighthouse and keep the lights on, keep the frequency strong, and life takes care of you. Okay. So, is there a day this week or this month that you can carve out and unplug a digital detox and just test it out? Throw your phone. I had a past business coach who would throw her phone in a box that would get locked, and she would give the key to her husband because she literally was addicted to technology. She would pull, and by the way, my mind was like, oh, but I need my computer to watch my non-duality videos, like my spiritual teacher. I'm like, we do that every night. Like, not tonight. It's still such a peaceful thing for me, but no, not today. And so it's like, oh, I get to read my book. Ooh, I get to, write a poem or just light a fire and do my gratitude ritual. So it's a very, very powerful space. Okay. So if you could let me know, oh, thank you, Kim. That feels good to hear. I felt God telling me to start doing that on Sundays this past week, but I didn't do it. I'm going to start. Wow. Synchronicity, avoiding silence, distracting myself. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Those were the more of the blocks. So now for our final, the thing I learned from the health diagnosis, which was how to practically make more money. Like all of what I just shared are the energetics, but like on a practical level, how do you let more in by doing less? Like, how do you make more money doing less? That sounds ridiculous. So let's take a breath and just notice connecting back in with your body. Notice how you're feeling. Notice what's landing for you. What's ringing true for you? Is it, this 5 A's? What happens if I experiment with this for 5 days in a row for a few minutes? And by the way, you have attached to this, you're going to have the audio, the 5 A's yeah, the 5 A's guided meditation if you want an actual guided audio. And to practice that for 5 days. Or is it to create an unplugged day for yourself? One day this month, maybe it's once a week, or try it first once. And what day is that? That gift to yourself? Maybe it's both the 5 A's and that. So I want to make sure you have the 5 A's so that when you do unplug and the mind goes into its patterns, you have a practice to pattern interrupt. Because typically people avoid it because they're afraid of their thoughts or the emotions, but the 5 A's allows you to awaken to the truth of who you are so that the feelings and the thoughts can do their dance up and down and all around. And you're the mother who's holding them, present with them, rather than getting lost in them. Or you're the sky that's watching all the weather patterns, and that will really ground you into presence. And then you're going to be connected to your body. And you can keep asking your body on that Shabbat day or on the unplugged day, what do you want now? Like to your body, what do you want now? So moment to moment, ooh, I'm hungry. I want to make a beautiful meal. And as you're sitting, eating, it's like, oh, what do I want now? So the next thing, right? Okay, so the Wealth Accelerator Blueprint for making more money doing less. Very, very simply, what is the 20% that you do in a day that yields the biggest result? what is the 20% that you do in a day that yields the biggest result? I had to figure this out because I needed all that extra bandwidth to I went to so many doctors, healers. I had this whole support team. What a blessing that I was able to do that, that I had the resources, but also the time. I had to make the time for my healing. So I had to figure out what actually generates in my business. And I made a list. And I was like, okay, making offers, actually making an offer, voicing, hey, this is how you can pay to work with me. Another one would be giving a class, a master class or a live stream. And at the end of that, making an offer. Another one was the interview series I was doing that was generating a lot of new people finding me through other people's audiences. That was huge. So I made that list and it was like, okay, everything else goes. Instagram, Facebook, all the socials, like, no. YouTube generates for me. So I continued very little, but I continued to show up consistently. Everything else went bye-bye. And I remember getting on a call with a client. Someone referred a client to me, and I got on a call, and I wasn't taking on new clients. I was just like, no. Energetically, I was just like, I am pouring into myself. And I got on the call, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna test this. I don't, my focus is myself and serving the clients I have right now and the students I have and making offers that are easy, like bringing more people into the membership or something like that, where I'm already giving that energy anyway. So it's making more money by doing the same amount. But I was on this call, and this was a breakthrough moment financially for me. At the end, when she asked how much my services were, I said a multiple five-figure offer to work with me for the year for 2 sessions a month and Voxer, like my typical package. And I just said the number. And she was like, okay, can I do it in 2 payments? And I was like, what just happened? It was so ridiculously easy because I was no longer attached to, I have to prove my worth. I have to make more money. I have to reach that next level. Oh my God, if I get this client, blah, blah, blah. All of that died the day that that doctor said, sweetheart, you have an incurable illness. You either drop the stress and stop eating gluten, or you have a not so happy future ahead of you. So it changed my energetics to I come first. I come first. And I can give all this free stuff on YouTube and to my newsletter, and I can serve in that way. I can write books that are really affordable. But when it comes to someone having my time, I get to prioritize my worth. That was life-changing. And then from there, I was like, oh, this is what my services are worth. And that's just what I would repeatedly charge. And then there are other options to come into the membership to work with me directly at a much more affordable price point. So this is how it works. And I promise you, if you right now ask yourself, what is the 20% that generates the most for your business? And for the next, let's just say 14 days, the next 2 weeks, like for me, it was making offers. So for 14 days, I made an offer every day for 14 weeks. 14 days. Sorry, that would be a lot. No, an offer every day. And that meant like emailing someone and saying, hey, I have the perfect program for you. It's just like someone who I was already working with, a past client, or it would have been on a YouTube video making an offer or on a newsletter making an offer at the end. But I promised myself and I made a little checklist, 14 days. Let's say you're an artist and you want to sell a piece. It means promoting, taking photos of your work and saying, hey, this is how you can come see my pieces. This is how you can buy them every day for whatever that goal line is to generate with greater ease, or rather than expecting money to just fall in your lap from wishful thinking. It doesn't work that way. Denise DT, the money coach, she goes, Marketing is manifesting. That's how you manifest marketing. So anyway, so 14, what I did was I put 14. I think I did that at the end of 1 year because I wasn't at my income. Like I wanted to reach a certain point. And the last 14 days of the year, I was like, oh, I did my numbers. I was like, I'm falling short this year. I made an offer every day for 14 days and crossed the threshold of my number. So, and then I was like, why don't I always do this? So, and then I just checked it off the list. And there were some days I didn't want to do it, to be honest, but I was like, I made a promise to myself. It doesn't matter what the result is, the win is that I do it. Okay. So, which of these are you going to implement? If you could just let me know in the chat, one, two, or three, or all of the above, which one feels like the most valuable to you? And then finally, just remembering that presence is power. So all of this was literally us just coming home, first and foremost, to our physical bodies through the 5 A's, balancing the nervous system because the nervous system relaxes. The body relaxes when we physically touch and are present with the body. The body can relax. It's a mammal, like anything else. Like there's all this research, cortisol levels drop as soon as we physically touch the body with that warmth. And then the nervous system is like, oh, she's here with me. She's not lost in her mind. The body feels abandoned when we are lost in thought. But when we take a few minutes each day to connect, hey, sweetheart, how are you doing? What's the unmet need? What do you need? Now the nervous system can relax because the steward of your own body, you, is actually here and is present. Okay. Ooh, awesome. Okay. 5 A's and unplugging, Sundays off, 5 A's for 5 days. Ooh, I love that. 5 A's for 5 days. That would be a great challenge for all of us. And one day fully unplugged. Sunday would be a good day for that. So good. And every morning to do the 5 A's. Beautiful. Observe Sundays. So beautiful. Reaching out to specific people with offers for my art, tapestries, rug, specific to those people. You know how generous that is? That is so generous. It's like, yeah, it's just remember that marketing is generosity because you're getting in front of the people who want what you have. And if they don't want it or need it, they'll just tell you. It's no problem. And they'll say yes or no. Okay, so I'm going to end the recording here. But before I do, to those of you on YouTube, because I am going to put this up on YouTube, and then we'll go into our Q&A here in the membership. But and don't worry, none of you who are here live will be seen on YouTube. It is pinned on me. But before I say something, let's say together, taking a breath. I am here. I'm available for my most abundant life. This is my time to make more money doing less. This is my time to shine. This is my time to be an example of what's possible when I take really good care of myself and enjoy my life. It gives permission to others. Okay, and to those of you on YouTube, if you want to, if you want to help, if you want help implementing any of this, I'm going to practice what I preach, and I'm actually going to let you know that the membership, the doors to soul-centered life and business are closing on the 7th, on 7/7, on July 7. So if you want to join the membership, you can join until then. And if you join for the annual, you're actually going to get a private confidence breakthrough session with me, which is a deep dive transformative session. And you will receive 10% off the membership. So you can click the link below to join us if you want this community and sisterhood and my direct coaching live 3 times a month. You can join us. The link is below. And mwah, I love you all. If you got something from this, you can give it a thumbs up. Okay. Now for our Q&A. Now for our Q&A. And notice how simple it was to make an offer.